Hello everybody. This is my second video to go through the instruments that are recommended to use with the cycles. I think I've got a little bit more of a working setup here rather than being on the floor and being cut off at the neck. Although I feel a little bit like Mr. Rogers, like I should come in and take off my shoes and put on slippers and a sweater. Anyways, here we are. Focusing on the instruments for cycles 3 and 4. So cycle 3, if you recall, I feel like I should do a bit of a pop quiz. What are the archetypal energies of cycle number 3? It is coming to spring, late spring. The element is air. The guidance reflection is birds. And so the instruments that we use are, to a large extent, it's reflecting those energies or emulating those sounds. So there certainly are, you can see here, I have gathered in travels over years many sort of bird call type whistles, which I love, and I'm always on the lookout for more. I have my very big owl. This, I think, was the first one that I got. And then I have a baby version. So other whistles, they do sound, I may not have exactly the owl tone to it, but it's certainly recognizable as somewhat owlish. I love this little whistle. I cannot even remember where I got this little whistle. I love it so much. You put a little bit of water in it. It's ceramic. And then isn't that amazing? So little bird whistle. Then I've got two that I got in Mexico. This one is very eagle-like, so we've got owl, little songbirds, and then like the cry of an eagle. And then this one also in Mexico. I find this one a little harder to do. I try to practice it until George wants to lose his mind. Stop with the jaguar. This is my jaguar whistle. So I haven't totally got it, but you can sort of get that sense of there's like a growl and a roar. So not a bird per se, of course, but cycle 3 is about, you know, how we're stepping completely out of the dark and into the light. It's that equinox time. And so I do like the jaguar. Jaguar is very much about working with the shadow. And so that call of the whistle is almost like, I'm here, I'm stepping out of the dark and into the light. So the other instruments, drum-wise, excuse me, I think if you remember, there were certain drums that we used for cycle 1. There were like the watery drums that we used for cycle 2. There's the djembe drum that we use for cycle 3. I no longer have my djembe drum because it was gifted before. Trying to save space in the 40-foot shipping container. One little drum. But you can, because it's like the warrior beat rather than the heartbeat of cycle 1. It's all about strength and empowerment, cycle 3. So you can feel the feet anchored on the earth and that power that is moving up from the feet into the solar plexus. So you can use a frame drum, but the djembe is also really good for getting those energies going. And then, although I didn't originally ascribe these instruments to cycle 3, they're so reflective of it because, of course, they are the wind chimes, and they're so beautiful. There are bells that we use for cycle 4, but because these sound like you can hear the wind moving through them, and they bring a lightness to the solar plexus. So if you have one of these, oh, it's just so magical. So these that I have are, they're different energies and starting different notes or different note combination scale. So it has this lovely tone and overtone energy to each of them, even if you just have the one. So those are the main instruments to work with for cycle 3, to feel strong and centered, but also to start to bring some of that lightness of the air moving through. And then we move to the instruments aligned with, or that I align, because there's other possibilities out there as well, with the heart, cycle 4, centered in that which brings together the above and the below. So this is the cycle that we're in now. I certainly am feeling that heat of summer and the rising of those energies into passion, but also that this is the place that allows for so much of healing, of really letting go of anything that was the heaviness of the past, and really bringing in this hope and energy and intention and motivation behind what we are bringing into the future. So again, following through on some of the sounds, but this is more of a fire. The bells can help to sort of bridge that below to the above, and starting to bring that higher vibration. There's also the kalimba. I have a couple. I love this kalimba, although my nails are a bit too long. Kalimbas are a lot of these instruments, well, I mean, all of the instruments, but particularly I find these are really about sort of allowing the flow of your heart to move with them. There's a bit of a dance in just working with the notes. This one, as I say, they're a little close together. My nails are a little long, so it's hard to get a single one. I have this little kalimba. This was actually a wounded kalimba. It was in a drum frame. I got it in Glastonbury many years ago. I think that was like 2018. And so, but the kalimba part of it is still lovely. Don't know if you can hear that. So when it was in a drum, it echoed, had a really deep resonance, and unfortunately it's irreparable, but I do want to get a replacement. The other thing that at this shop in Glastonbury that I saw, which I thought was so, so beautiful for this cycle particularly, is it was like a double kalimba. So it was on a piece of wood. There was a kalimba on one side and on the other side. And actually when I was in the shop, there was another woman who's like, oh my gosh, look at this. And so we each stood on either side playing our part. And it really does, you know, with cycle 4 being about union and partnerships for a healing perspective, it's really lovely to have this as an instrument where you sort of see the weaving of how the music that I'm making and the music that you're making weaves together in this very beautiful way. So that's the kalimba. There's also as another version of, we're sort of getting out of the drums now. This is the last of the drums, but it's the tongue drum. So I have a couple of versions of it. I've got this one, and I don't know if you can see, but I think people are fairly familiar with the tongue drums, that it's like it's metal, and it's got sections that are cut out at different sizes in order to create different sounds, different notes. I've got, you can do it with your hand. Or you can do it with a, makes a bit of a louder sound. So a little louder when you use the stick with it. And then I've got this, a little teeny tiny one. You can actually even get smaller ones, which are, you know, if you feel like you need a little tongue drum in your purse just to pull out whenever you have a need. There's some really lovely ones. I don't know if this has got it doesn't have a name on it. So again, these are actually the sticks that go with this one. I've got different sticks for that one. Lightens the heart. So that's our little run through. I think that's all of them, of the instruments for cycle 3 and cycle 4. And we'll continue with cycles 5 and 6 in a couple of weeks. Thank you for watching this and sharing in this musical journey with me. So thank you. Then I take off the sweater, I take off the slippers, put on the shoes.